Spring, 1803. In a Paris mansion, a man sat soaking in a tub of warm water. And inside that very bath, the fate of an enormous land on the other side of the world was sealed. That land stretched over 2 million square kilometers, close to half of today's United States. People often say the emperor sold it all away while drunk. But that isn't true. The real story is far stranger than any drunken blunder. Stone cold sober, sunk in his bath, he forced the deal through. Splashing bathwater in the faces of the very brothers who came to stop him. The man's name was Napoleon Bonaparte. Stay to the end, and you'll see why the most powerful man in Europe gave away land larger than the great powers of Western Europe combined, for little more than the cost of a war. The version we learn in textbooks is simple. In 1803, the United States bought a territory called Louisiana from France. The greatest real estate deal in history. For just $15 million, the United States doubled in size. The price came to just a few cents an acre. Told this way, it sounds like a tale of a clever America and a foolish France. But there is a crucial part of this deal the textbooks leave out. The truth is, America never set out to buy that vast territory at all. President Thomas Jefferson wanted just one thing, New Orleans, the port at the mouth of the Mississippi. Every crop from the American West had to pass through that port to reach the sea.
$10 million is the absolute limit. I repeat, secure New Orleans and the coastal territory shown here, and nothing else.
So two diplomats, Robert Livingston and James Monroe, set off for Paris. But the offer France put before them in Paris was beyond anything they had imagined. Why
not just the port, but all of Louisiana.
France was pushing onto them land the Americans had never even asked for. So why was Napoleon so desperate to unload this enormous territory? This is where the real story begins. Napoleon's true treasure was never Louisiana. It was a small Caribbean island called Saint-Domingue, today, Haiti. At the time, this island produced much of the world's sugar and coffee, the most profitable colony France owned. Napoleon's plan was clear: Louisiana would be the giant breadbasket that fed that island. But on that island, something happened that would turn history upside down. The enslaved people who had been worked and exploited there rose up for their freedom. Led by Toussaint Louverture, this revolution broke the army of what was called the world's mightiest power. The tens of thousands of soldiers Napoleon sent melted away, not in battle, but before yellow fever and relentless resistance. Once the island was lost, Louisiana's value vanished from Napoleon's mind along with it. A breadbasket with no colony to feed was just a burden he couldn't even defend. And war with Britain was closing in fast. The Royal Navy ruled the seas, and across the Atlantic, Louisiana lay all but defenseless. If war broke out, it was land Britain would simply seize. So why not sell it for cash before it could be taken? On top of that, Napoleon desperately needed money to wage that war. Sell the land to America, then use the money to fight Britain, that was his calculation. And the place where this decision was finally settled was the very bath we began with. Napoleon's
I
two
said
brothers,
no, and
Joseph
that is
and Lucien,
final.
were fiercely against the deal.
Listen to reason.
They burst in
Absolutely
on
not.
their bathing brother,
We do not
insisting he
consent
could
to
not
this.
sell territory without the consent of the legislature.
I'll
Joseph
lead them
even
against
threatened to
you.
put himself at the head of the opposition. At that, as if consent meant nothing, Napoleon hurled himself backward in the tub. A wave of perfumed bathwater surged up and soaked Joseph full in the face. This scene comes down to us through a memoir written by Lucien himself. Not the fate of one country, but half a continent, settled with a single splash of bathwater. The negotiations moved quickly. The final price was $15 million, part of it covered by forgiving debts France owed to America. And so, in 1803, the United States doubled in size almost overnight. Napoleon was satisfied, the deal had handed him the money to fight Britain. But did he realize he was planting the seed of a future rivalry? From the land he sold so cheaply, 15 states would one day be born. That land became the very heartland of the American superpower. An emperor who set out to conquer Europe had, without knowing it, raised another giant across the Atlantic. And there is one more thing we should not forget. America gained this vast land, in the end, because enslaved people in the Caribbean won their own freedom. A cry for freedom on one island reshaped half a continent on the map. We often remember this as a joke, the blunder of a drunken emperor. But behind it turned the vast gears of history, revolution, war, and cold calculation, all locked together. Behind the simplest line of history, what are we still overlooking today? If this story drew you in, subscribe and like to join us for the next one.